Welcome to my channel. This is Captain Binoy Varakil, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Joseph's College, Devagiri. We continue our discussion of Longinus Treatise on the Sublime. This is the second lecture in this series. And in the first lecture, we just had a look at the concept of sublimity, and we also just discussed the authorship of the Treatise on the Sublime. And we know that Longinus' identity, the details of Longinus are not authentic. It is in fact doubtful whether the author is Dionysius or Longinus or Dionysius Longinus, and that we are not sure about the authorship of the Treatise on the Sublime. And anyway, what we are concerned with is the very content of the treatise, that is on the Sublime. And in this lecture, in the second lecture, we continue our discussion on, of course, what is sublimity or on the Sublime. And we understand that on the Sublime is both a treatise on aesthetics. It's in fact a treatise on aesthetics, right? And a work of literary criticism. It's a work of literary criticism, and we understand that it is written in an epistolary form, and the final part dealing with public speaking is just lost. But we understand the fact that almost 44 chapters of the treatise on the Sublime is available to us. And I said that it is written in an epistolary form. In the first lecture, I said that it is addressed to Postumius Terentianus, a Roman. And now let us just look at the very opening of the very treatise on the Sublime. So I am just reading it out to help you understand the fact that it is in the form of a letter, epistolary form. So I'm reading. Introduction. Caecilius' treatise and its shortcomings. As you will remember, my dear Postumius Terentianus, when we were working together on Caecilius' little treatise on the Sublime, it seemed to us too trivial a handling of the subject as a whole. It showed no grasp of the main points and offered its readers little of the practical help that it should be the writer's main object to supply. In any systematic treatise, two things are essential. First, there must be some definition of the subject. Second, in order to treat, or in order of treatment but of great importance, there must be some indication of the methods by which we may ourselves reach the desired goal. Now, Caecilius, assuming us to be ignorant, sets out to establish the nature of the Sublime by means of innumerable examples. But he leaves out of account, apparently considering it unnecessary, the means by which we may be enabled to raise our faculties to the proper pitch of grandeur. However, we ought perhaps rather to praise him for the conception itself and the industry he has shown in carrying it out than to find fault with him for his deficiencies. So the concept of the Sublime is generally accepted to refer to a style of writing that elevates itself above the ordinary. So sublimity, what is sublime, or what is the concept of sublime? The concept of the Sublime is generally accepted to refer to a style of writing that elevates itself above the ordinary. And sublimity is a certain distinction and excellence in writing. And Longinus, in the Treatise on the Sublime, sets out the 5 sources of sublimity in his treatise. So he just writes down all the 5 sources of sublimity in the treatise. And when we go from the beginning to the end, we understand that the present manuscript of On the Sublime has 44 chapters. 44 chapters. And understand that chapters 7, 8 and 9 are just prescribed for detailed study of the postgraduate students of the colleges of University of Calicut. And as I suggested some time ago, we will be looking at all these chapters in general, and specifically at chapters 7, 8 and 9. So with this we come to the end of the second lecture, and in the third lecture we will start our detailed discussion of chapters 7, 8 and 9, and in subsequent lectures we'll be looking at all the other chapters of the Treatise on the Sublime by Longinus. Thank you so much for listening.